Welcome to Let's Get Real with Tina, Bill.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is Let's Get Real and I'm Tina Bill. So once again, we are going to dive right into today's topic. So like I've said before, I want to share with you my past experiences. And of course, I've even shared with you my recent experiences. You know, I think it's very important that we as believers in the body of Christ understand that there is a real spiritual world out there. There is the spirit of good, which is God. There's the spirit of evil, which is Satan. And I think that we don't really understand the spirit world enough, so we just continue on in our daily life and our daily routine as if the only thing that exists is the current, the now, the flesh, the mortal world that we live in. But again, that is not true. There is the spirit world. So, Paul tells us that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against the rulers of the darkness in the high places. And if Paul tells us that, then we know that there is more than just this natural world, right? My husband is a golfer. He loves to golf. Of course, he loves to hunt and fish, and now he is into metal detecting. So you have that there. Anyway, my husband and his friends had planned on going golfing the following morning. And of course, again, we lived way out in the country. So just to get to town to his friend's house was a 30 to 40-minute drive. And his buddy was super sweet and was like, hey, why don't you just stay over here? That way everybody can meet at my house. We'll carpool and leave the next morning, because where they were going golfing was going to be, I don't know, an hour and a half drive or something like that. So, of course, my husband packed his little overnight bag and headed to his friend's house. Now, let me back up. I have battled with insecurities my whole life. I'm sure none of you have ever dealt with that, right? Anyway, in the home that I was raised in, my life was a little confusing from the time I was a child until my adult years. Words to me were just very empty. If you didn't show me, if you just said something, then, it really didn't matter what came out of your mouth in the sense of believing what you were saying, because unfortunately there were a lot of bad negative things that came from my stepdad's mouth, that if I would not have built that tolerance to these words, I would be a different person today. So as a child, when I would hear these negative, demeaning words spoken towards me and to me and over me, I just learned to say, to myself that that person basically has no right to speak over me, and I would ignore and rebel against those words. So when my husband started telling me on our first date, which is really cute and hilarious at the same time, but he told me he loved me, and that in the moment itself was a deal breaker. I mean, I was ready to just, oh my goodness, shut the door on this thing and say, no way. And I did tell him, I did tell him that. He told me he loved me. I said, you don't know what love is. Don't say that to me. How can you meet a person for the first time and tell them you love them? For my husband, it was love at first sight. That's what he said. And I mean, 35, 36 years later, I'm believing him now, but I just didn't believe in that kind of love. And so I struggled. Even after being married, I just struggled believing that true love was a thing. And I really, really had a hard time. And when I say I struggled, I'm going to tell you, it was a daily doubt in my mind that my husband really did love me the way he said he did. I thought, yeah, of course he loves me, likes me, whatever. But, I don't think he loves me truly, deeply, So I just had a hard time. So the Lord had been dealing with me for quite some time about him loving me, and I really fought it. I even fought it when the Lord would show me things and what have you, and I just guys, I'm telling you, I really just couldn't believe it. So that was the self-worth that I had. And even though I appeared secure on the outside, the inside was just a mess. So anyway, back to my story. That evening, my husband left, went to his friend's house. And I had a little guy named Champ. He was a wire hair fox terrier, and Champ has gone on to be with the Lord, and he will be waiting for me in heaven. I truly believe that. But Champ was a character, and he used to sleep on the foot of my bed, and he was my little protector, my guard dog. And anyway, that night I was sleeping, and I woke up, or I wasn't even sure what was happening, but I heard Champ barking. And I was like, Champ, be quiet. Champ, stop. And I mean, he was on the edge of the bed. You know how they do when they're trying to stay on the bed, but yet they're trying to reach out and attack something. And I was like, Champ. So I raised up and I look, and at the foot of the bed on my side, there was Randy in a silhouette form, but yet full color. Okay, so it was like you see on a movie projector, you can see through this image, but yet you see this image perfectly fine. And Champ is just barking, going nuts, and I'm thinking to myself, because I'm in a deep sleep. This could be 2, 3 in the morning. I am in a very deep sleep, and I'm like, what is going on? And I even said to myself, am I dreaming? Is this a dream? Is this a vision? What is going on here? And I'm just looking, and Champ's barking, and I'm telling Champ to be quiet. And at the same time, I see the silhouette of my husband. And in my mind, I'm like, this is crazy. My husband's not here. I know this is not real, but yet this was so real. And he spoke to me, and he said, I love you. I need you to know I love you. And that was it. And I laid back down and I went back to sleep. And the next day, I woke up and I was like, whoa, wait, what happened? Randy's not even here. So I really couldn't get a grasp on, was I just dreaming? Was I having a real night vision? What was going on? So I prayed about it a little bit, and then, of course, I went on about my day. Well, that evening, when Randy returned home from golfing, he unpacked his overnight bag. Now, remember, I didn't pack his bag, and I didn't even know what he put in his bag. But in his overnight bag was the exact shirt and pair of shorts that he was wearing in my vision, my night vision. And I said to myself, I said, oh my goodness. I said, God, I really believe that you are doing everything you can to get through my thick skull and my hard, broken heart. And the thing is the night clothes that Randy had worn the nights previous were not the clothes that he packed in his bag. So any little theory that you could come up with, well, I mean, he wore those the night before, and that's why you remember those or whatever. That was not the case. He packed a different shirt and a different pair of shorts, and that was a confirmation to me that God allowed him to appear to me in the most vulnerable time. When we are sleeping, guys, there is a vulnerable moment that happens. And unfortunately, that's why a lot of times people have nightmares, because the spirit world is just very real and able to, there's no guard. You have no guard up usually while you're sleeping. That's why before you go to sleep at night, say your prayers. Pray the angels of the Lord thy God encamp round about you and your family and keep watch and guard over you through the night. So I thought to myself, I said, dear Lord, you are really trying to get through to me. And then this also came to my mind, and it was a 100% slam dunk. Okay. For Champ to be barking in the natural, in the physical, I know I heard him with my physical ears. It was audible. That again was a confirmation that this was not just a dream in my own head. This was a real night vision because my dog saw this. Why would Champ be barking like that? Staring at the same thing that I was looking at, and he is just barking, tearing the bed up, trying to get to this Randy in the silhouette. And that, again, animals are super, super sensitive to the spirit world. They're more sensitive than humans because the animal does not have the brain capacity to reason out whether this is real or not real. They just know. So here Champ was barking audibly, and so I knew Champ was a confirmation. Tina, you heard this. You saw this because that dog, you heard him barking audibly. So guys, I want to leave this with you today. Again, there is a spirit world that you need to be aware of. It's not weird and it's not kooky that you should desire that or know that. Because first of all, you are spirit before you are flesh. You are not a body before you were alive. You are a spirit. The Bible says in Jeremiah that God knew us before we were formed in our mother's womb. God knew our spirit. Okay? So that is, again, another reason why so many times that we are interested in the spirit world, because it's familiar to us. Our spirit is familiar with that, and he is very, very aware that it existed before the flesh. Now, that might start going deep for some of you, so I'm going to stop right there. But guys, anyway, ponder on those things. I'm going to continue to share my experiences with you. I hope you enjoy them. Like and share these things on YouTube, Facebook, if you will, because you know what? We are living in a time when people are grasping for truth. They are grasping for, some of the Christians that even I know, they're kind of wavering. They haven't seen or heard anything that bears witness to them for a while, and they're starting to doubt some things and waver. So, you know what? We need to support each other, lift each other up. So again, thank you for listening, like and share. I love you guys, and until next time.